My friends, there comes a time in the soul's journey when it must stop reaching outward and instead turn inward. The moment you stop begging, stop chasing, and begin to embody the truth of who you are, you become the prize. What you call reality is only a reflection. The world you see is nothing more than a mirror, dutifully projecting the state you dwell in. If you see rejection, lack, or indifference, it is not punishment, but a signpost guiding you back home, back to your inner assumption. Do not plead for love, recognition, or wealth, for when you beg, you affirm you do not have, and what you affirm with feeling you perpetuate. When you chase, you confess something is running from you, but the truth is, nothing runs from the one who rests in their own worth. You must cease to identify with the one who lacks, and instead assume the role of the one who is. Be the woman who is already cherished. Be the man who is already prosperous. Be the soul that is already whole. And from that state, the world rearranges itself. All transformation begins within. You need not convince anyone, you need not prove anything. There is no one to change but self. As your self-concept shifts, so too does the conduct of others toward you. They reflect your inner conviction. You are the prize when you no longer seek validation. You are the prize when you no longer fear loss. You are the prize when you know, truly know, that you are enough. So stop calling, stop pleading, stop explaining. You need not run after anything, instead retreat inward. Close your eyes and see yourself as the one who already possesses what once seemed far away. Feel the thrill of being chosen, celebrated, fulfilled. And as you persist in this state, the world will catch up. You were never meant to chase. You were born to radiate. And what you radiate in consciousness, you attract in form. Walk not with desperation, but with certainty. Carry the stillness of the one who knows that all things are drawn to them. Speak not to convince the world, but to affirm your dominion over it. Do not beg. Do not chase. Just become the prize, and the world, powerless to do otherwise, will follow. All that you see in the outer world is nothing but a mirror reflecting back the ideas you hold to be true about yourself. There is no outer world independent of your inner assumptions. What appears is your environment, your relationships, your financial circumstances, your body. These are but shadows cast by the light of your inner state. If you look outward for confirmation before you have inwardly accepted something to be real, you will wait in vain. But the moment you claim it inwardly, not as a wish or a fantasy, but as a fact, then and only then will the world move to reflect that new truth. Man is not a victim of circumstances, but their author. The power to shape your world is not found in action, effort, or manipulation of others, but in the quiet, invisible act of assumption. If you would dare to believe something about yourself, even if all appearances contradict it, and dwell in that assumption as if it were already true, the outer world would bend to your inner conviction. It must, for the law that governs this universe is one of correspondence. As within, so without. Most fail not because they lack resources or opportunity, but because they continue to identify with a self that is limited, unworthy, or broken. They pray for change while remaining inwardly the same. They ask for abundance while affirming lack. They long for love while feeling unseen and unlovable. But the universe does not respond to words, it responds to states. And your state is determined by your conception of self. Ask yourself, who am I being right now in consciousness? Am I the version of myself that is already whole, already successful, already loved? Or am I still waiting to become that? If you are waiting, you have placed the power outside of yourself. And so it remains always out of reach. To become in consciousness what you desire to be is to claim your desire as already fulfilled. It is to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain faithful to it, even when nothing around you confirms it. This is the great discipline. This is the true creative act. The world is not fixed. It is fluid. It is ever responding to your inner state. If you would change your world, do not try to force conditions into shape. Instead, retire inward, close your eyes to the seeming facts, and look with the eye of imagination. See yourself as the person you wish to be, not someday now. Live there in thought, in feeling, in expectation. When you become it in consciousness, the world must conform. People will play their parts to bring it to pass. Circumstances will shift. Doors will open. Why? Because they are not the cause, they are the effect. The cause was your assumption, quietly planted and faithfully nurtured within. So remember, do not react to what appears. Instead, act from the state of your chosen reality. Live inwardly as if you were already who you want to be. And the world will mirror that back to you in ways both subtle and miraculous. Everything begins and ends within you. Assume wisely. When you chase after something, you declare with your energy that you do not have it. When you beg, you affirm to yourself and to the unseen laws of life that you are separate from what you desire. And so, though you may run tirelessly toward a goal, or plead with the world to grant your request, all you truly achieve is the reinforcement of your own sense of lack. In the unseen realm, your inner state is the only cause. If you feel desperate, you receive more situations that mirror desperation. If you feel needy, life will echo back conditions that reflect that need. It is not the words you speak, nor the effort you apply, but the quiet, consistent vibration of your state of being that shapes your world. To dwell instead of seek is to step into a higher understanding. It is to recognize that what you long for is not far away, but already exists in the eternal now, and your only task is to inhabit the state where it is already yours. That is the secret doorway, not striving, not proving, not convincing anyone of your worth, but dwelling in the consciousness of the fulfilled desire. Living in the feeling of already being who you want to be. There is a great stillness that accompanies this shift, a quiet knowing that eliminates the anxiety of pursuit. You no longer seek love, you dwell in the state of being loved. You no longer chase wealth, you dwell in the state of abundance. And from that dwelling place you magnetize what is yours by right of consciousness. You become the embodiment of the thing you once pursued, and the world can do nothing but reflect it back. To dwell is not to pretend, nor is it to passively wait. It is a conscious assumption, a deliberate inner stance. You must feel the naturalness of already having what you seek. Ask yourself, if I already had it, how would I feel? How would I move? What would I no longer need to do? Then begin to think from that place. Speak from that place. Act from that place. Not to make it happen, but because it is already so in the unseen. This is the great paradox. When you stop chasing, what you desire begins to come to you. Why? Because in stopping, you align with the vibration of having. You no longer resist it with doubt or fear or effort. You welcome it into your world because you have become a match to it. The mind will often resist this truth. It wants to do, to fix, to control. But the heart knows a different language, the language of being, and being is more powerful than doing. When you be the one who already has, the world reorganizes itself accordingly. Opportunities arise, people shift, circumstances unfold, all because your dwelling place has changed. So stop seeking. Stop asking if it's coming. Stop watching the clock or comparing yourself to others. Dwell instead. Dwell in the end. Dwell in the peace that comes with knowing it is already yours. This is the way. This is the secret. dwell, and you shall receive. You are the operant power. There is no outside force arranging your life. No person, condition, or fate has authority over your inner world unless you grant it power through belief. The great truth is this: all transformation begins within, for there is no one to change but self. The world around you is not a separate entity acting independently. It is a faithful mirror, reflecting your own self-concept back to you in countless forms. Every relationship, every outcome, every encounter is shaped by your inner assumptions. Most people look outside themselves and say, if only they would change, if only my circumstances were different, if only the world would respond better to me. And so they wait, they plead, they fight with shadows. But what they fail to see is that what appears as the outer world is only an echo. And you cannot change the echo without first changing the sound that produced it. When you change your self-concept, your deep habitual beliefs about who you are and what is possible for you, everything outside you begins to shift. People will treat you differently, opportunities will appear, events will line up with your new assumption. Why? Because the world has no choice but to reflect the version of yourself you are now embodying. Suppose you believe yourself to be undeserving. No matter how much you affirm with words or how hard you try, if you persist in the inner story of unworthiness, the world will comply. It will deny you, not because it judges you, but because it obeys you. You are the command center, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Your state of being speaks louder than any action or spoken desire. Now suppose you adopt a new identity, quietly, persistently, with feeling. You assume the role of someone who is worthy, someone who is chosen, someone who is loved and successful. You don't wait for the world to tell you it's true. You decide it's true now. And from this new place of being, the world must shift. It may not happen overnight, but it must happen because the outer is compelled to match the inner. This truth demands responsibility. It is far easier to blame than to transform. It is more comfortable to wait for change than to become it. But those who grasp this law and live by it begin to understand a power they never knew they possessed. They no longer seek permission or validation. They withdraw attention from the outer world and tend to the garden of their mind, knowing that all fruit will grow from its soil. Do not concern yourself with how others behave. Do not waste energy trying to force outcomes. Instead, turn within and ask, what am I assuming about myself? That assumption is the source. There is no exception to this. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are its architect. You do not react to conditions, you create them, subtly and continuously through the state you occupy. So take hold of your power, cease waiting, stop blaming, become in consciousness what you desire to see reflected, and you will watch in quiet wonder as the world confirms what you have dared to believe. You are the operant power. There is no one to change but self. The prize does not pursue. It does not chase, it does not beg, and it does not plead for attention or recognition. A true prize simply is. It rests in its value. It knows its worth. And from this place of calm assurance, it draws to itself all that corresponds to its nature. You too must come to understand this. You are not here to run after what is already yours by divine right. You are not meant to grasp or grovel, for that is not the language of the one who knows they are chosen. When you chase, you say with your energy, it is not mine. When you pursue with desperation, you are affirming lack, not abundance. But you were never made to live in lack. You were not created to be less than or left behind. What is meant for you does not need to be hunted. It must simply be received. And the only preparation required is inner alignment. Not striving, not efforting, but dwelling in the knowing that you are the prize. To be the prize is not arrogance, it is truth remembered. It is not superiority over others, it is recognition of your own divinity, your innate wholeness. When you embody the feeling of already having what you once desired, when you radiate the calm of fulfillment rather than the anxiety of pursuit, you shift from the frequency of longing to the frequency of attraction. And attraction is effortless when the inner state is solidified. Those who understand this law do not chase, they allow. They do not question when or how. It is not their concern. Their work is only to dwell, to remain faithful to the assumption of already being, already having, already becoming. And through this faith, the unseen world moves. People appear, circumstances align, paths open, all without strain, all without force. You do not need to become louder to be seen, nor more visible to be acknowledged. You simply need to know who you are and live as if you already have what you desire. This is not make-believe, it is creation in its highest form. You are not playing pretend, you are practicing the truth until it manifests in form. And as you do, the energy around you changes, the vibration you emit shifts, and that shift is your true work. The prize never steps down to be chosen. It never explains, never proves, never persuades. The prize radiates, and those who are meant to recognize its worth are drawn to it. In the same way, you must stop lowering your standards to be accepted, stop diluting your like to be like, and stop abandoning your dignity for approval. You are not meant to chase after crumbs when the banquet has already been prepared for you. Be still, be certain, rest in your worth. There is a magnetic power in stillness, a holy gravity in quiet confidence. This is how you receive, not by chasing, but by becoming the one who is no longer in search, because they know the search has ended within. The prize does not pursue, it attracts. So stand firm in your knowing. What is yours is not running from you, it is waiting for you to stop running from yourself. Feeling is the secret, not thought alone, not mere repetition of words, but the emotional conviction behind them. It is not enough to say you are wealthy, loved, successful. You must feel it. The emotion you embody, the inner atmosphere you cultivate, is what molds the unseen into the seen. Feeling is not a reaction to the world, it is the cause of the world you experience. Creation begins in the inner realm, and feeling is its power source. If you persist in the feeling of lack, even while affirming abundance, lack will still shape your world. If you speak of love but feel unworthy of it, your world will reflect that unworthiness. But if you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, truly take on the emotional state of already being what you desire to be, you will witness the outer world conform to that inner truth. It is not about forcing feelings, nor is it about pretending. It is about allowing yourself to dwell in the emotional tone of fulfillment. Ask yourself, if I already had what I seek, how would I feel? What would my days feel like? How would I carry myself? How would I breathe, speak, and move through the world? These are not idle questions. They are gateways. When you answer them sincerely and allow your body and heart to align with the feeling of the answer, you step into the creative act. Emotion impresses the subconscious. It bypasses the surface mind and seeds the deeper soil from which reality springs. This is why dramatizing lack only recreates more of it. Worry is imagination clothed in fear. Gratitude, on the other hand, is imagination clothed in fulfillment. The more you feel from the end, the more that end becomes inevitable. Many wait for their world to change before they allow themselves to feel differently, but that is inversion. Feeling must come first. You must summon the feeling before the evidence and trust that the evidence will arrive in perfect time. This is faith, not blind belief. but inner knowing. It is the still confidence that what you feel consistently and deeply must outpicture itself in form. Feelings are not mere reactions, they are tools. You are not at the mercy of emotions. You are their master when you become conscious of them. You can choose what to dwell on. You can shift from fear to confidence, from doubt to knowing, from longing to fulfillment. And each time you do, you rewrite the script of your life. Let your imagination be alive with feeling. Let your visions be soaked in the emotion of already done. When you close your eyes and see the life you desire, feel the joy of it, the peace, the confidence. Let your body believe it's real and your mind will follow. Let your world be built not on effort, but on feeling. Feeling is the secret. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the law beneath all creation. Assume the feeling of being who you wish to be and do it consistently, quietly, faithfully, and you will see that from this state, all things flow. It is mastery. It is not indifference, nor is it apathy. It is spiritual sovereignty. It is the quiet power of one who no longer lives at the mercy of appearances. To detach is to reclaim authority over your reality. It is to withdraw your emotional dependence on conditions and anchor yourself within. When you no longer need something to show up in order to feel secure, you have entered the realm of true creation. Most live as slaves to the external. They wait for the world to change before they permit themselves to feel differently. But this is bondage. It is to say, I am only as happy, safe, or worthy as the world allows me to be. And so they chase, they beg, they react. But the one who has mastered detachment knows better. They understand that all things begin within. The outer is nothing more than a delayed echo of the inner state. When you let go of the outer and live inwardly, you become cause rather than effect. You shift your awareness from what is to what is becoming. This is not escape, it is alignment. The outer world is slow and dense. The inner world is immediate and pliable. And once the inner is secured, once the feeling of the wish fulfilled is assumed and maintained, the outer must comply. It has no choice, for it is a shadow cast by the light of your consciousness. Detachment is not about giving up your desire. It is about surrendering the anxiety around its outcome. You still hold the vision, you still dwell in the feeling, but you are no longer desperate. You no longer need to control, to force, or to cling. You have moved into trust. You know that what you claim within must appear without, and so you walk in calm expectancy. This is the highest form of faith, not hope, but knowing. And in this knowing, all things flow effortlessly. You are no longer swimming against the current, you are in rhythm with the law. The very act of detachment signals to the subconscious mind that the desire is already fulfilled. If it were not, you would still be striving. But because you are at peace, the mind takes this as confirmation and sets into motion all necessary bridges of events. Understand this: energy of lack repels, energy of fulfillment attracts. Clinging and neediness declare to the universe, I do not have. But when you rest, when you relax, when you confidently let go, you are saying it is already done. And the world mirrors back this declaration in its own time and form. Let go of the timelines, let go of the how, let go of needing others to agree, approve, or assist. None of that is your work. Your only task is to maintain the inner state, to return again and again to the feeling of already being who you wish to be. That is the root. The fruit will follow. Detachment is mastery. It is the mark of one who understands the creative process. It is the shift from force to flow, from striving to receiving. Let go of the outer and live inwardly. Everything you desire is already yours in consciousness. Dwell there, and the world will take shape around your inner certainty. So now you must remember this. You are not here to beg. You are not meant to chase. You are here to become, and in becoming you attract. You do not run after what is yours. You align with it. The world is but a mirror reflecting your self-concept, and the moment you assume the feeling of the fulfilled wish, the reflection must change. Be still. Dwell in the end. Detach from how and when. And know this above all. There is no power outside of you. The treasure is not in the distance. It is in your own consciousness. Stop seeking it in the world. Start realizing it in yourself. You are the prize. And the moment you realize it, the world must rise to meet you. Thank you for listening. Stay rooted in your vision, faithful in feeling, and calm in knowing. All is well, and all is unfolding in your favor.